A 3-engined vintage classic? Find out more right here on Gary's Stuff. Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. Today, I'm indeed looking at this, the AIRFIX Savoia Marchetti SM.79 in 1/72 scale. It's a vintage classics release, which means it's made using really old molds that they've checked and tidied up and maybe tweaked a little bit, but essentially it's the same moldings as when it was first released in 1967. So you kind of get the understanding that maybe it's not with the most modern technology, but it's still a worthwhile kit to make. Now, in this video, I'll be having a look at what you get inside the box. In the next video, I'll be putting it into some sort of context, so the historical context with a bit of the history of the SM.79, and also look at all the other kits that are available in the marketplace. And in the last video of the series, of course, I'll be making it, showing you how to put it together. Now, if you want to catch any of these or all of these, don't want to miss a thing, do please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell and you'll get notified with all my future videos are released. And if you like any of my videos, please do remember give them the imperial thumbs up on the like button below. Every like counts. And if you'd like to do something a bit more concrete for the channel, maybe if you want to buy one of these SM.79s, and you can do that through any of my online partner programs, one of which is the AIRFIX partner program. Click through the link that you find in the information box below. Buy a Sparviero or indeed anything else from AIRFIX or Humbrol, and at no extra cost to you, AIRFIX will make a donation to this channel, and you still get your AIRFIX club discount if you remember the club, and you collect your Hornby hobby points if you're registered for those. Everyone's a winner. Right, let's crack on and see what you get inside the box of the Savoia Marchetti SM.79 1/72 scale from AIRFIX. So here we have the box of the SM.79, classic Roy Cross artwork on the front, of course. Some of the reason why they choose kits to be in vintage classics is they still have the original artwork. Inside is the usual AIRFIX thing of bag of pieces. We'll have a look at those in a minute. The instruction sheet, which feels instantly quite lightweight, and a set of decals. Of course, these are brand new. We'll have a look at those as well in a moment. And unlike modern kits where everything's in named frames, these earlier pieces, some just like came with a bit on a feeder. This you can actually see if you put these together, you can see they actually do match up. So that would be one mold like that, but they don't put them out like that anymore. Never did, in fact. So this is just like the fuselage, obviously. Then there are the wings on their own frames. Now, here's a frame with lots of bits of undercarriage details, gear doors, bits and pieces, crew, very rudimentary figures, and this very bent propeller. Now, the thing you'll notice about these is that the layout isn't really suited to protecting that in a box. If I have a look at, see if I've got a contemporary aircraft here. Okay, this is a frame from a modern AIRFIX kit, and you'll notice that the things like propellers, everything is molded within an outer line of the frame, so everything in here is protected when it's packaged. You know, you can't sort of knock it by going that way. Whereas back in the old days, as it were, they didn't do things like that. So this is going to need to be straightened out, a bit of warm water and a bit of loving care, and that will be fine. But anyway, there's the rest of the parts on there for the mainly these are undercarriage parts. This frame contains the 3 engines and their cowlings, a bit of interior structure, ailerons, I guess, and the other propeller. Again, it's slightly out of shape, so we'll need to sort that one out. And finally, on this one, well, penultimately actually, the last propeller, wheels, more undercarriage parts, I guess elevators and rudder, a couple of torpedoes as well. And the last frame, I'm guessing this is the main cabin floor, bits of the external structure, the prop bosses there, and these feel like the tailplanes. So there we go. That's all the parts of that solid plastic, and then of course we have a frame of clear plastic. I don't know if these have been reverse engineered or not, or whether these are the original tool. It might be the original tool actually. I don't know, we'll see. But they look like they might be the original tool. Oh, okay, I can take it out. Don't know what I'm doing. I have actually had a look at these before. There we go. I think these are the originals, judging only by where the numbers are on the frame. If we have a look at the parts in a bit more detail, first thing you notice is that all of the panel lines and things like that are raised on these models. That's just such a pain in the backside if you're trying to do nice bit of panel highlighting and things like that. These days it's so much easier when the panel lines are actually recessed. There's a lot of bits of flash, I mean, huge chunks of flash like there. All of that's just a leakage in the mold. So these are going to be, they're going to take a long time to clean up, I think. They're not going to be impossible. One thing I also do like is that on the bigger parts are numbered actually on the part rather than on the frame, so it's quite cool. Interesting to see that again. But you know, generally, considering this was moulded first in 1967, it's not actually that bad. It's not terrible, but it's going to take some work to get it looking decent. Again, when we look at some of the smaller parts, there are challenges. This gun barrel is far from straight. Should be down like that a bit. Far from straight. There's bits of flash all over the place. Again, it's going to take time to, and that famously bent propeller. Crew figures are rudimentary, let's say. This gunner, I mean, his hands are like just a sort of big thing. We can probably drill that out to make 2 separate hands, actually. We can fill this little bit in here. That's the ejector pin mark there. There's ejector pin marks here, which will be sanded down. Just generally clean up all of these lines here. You can see there's lots of flash in there. Lots of mould lines as well. Everything's going to take some cleaning up. But it's not impossible. And you know what? We used to do this back in the old days. Here on this propeller, it's straight enough, but you can see this mass of flash that's leaked out around the propeller tip. Should look more like that. See how big a load of that's got to be taken off, sanded down very, very carefully. You'll also notice with the plastic how shiny it is. This is often, especially on an older mould, this is often a sign of something like a release agent being used to help it come off of the mould more smoothly. So we do need to give this a bit of a wash with a bit of detergent just to get rid of some of the oil that may be left on there before we prime everything. The instruction sheet, you know, at first glance, it's the vaguely modern look to it. It's got the vintage classics thing. All the typefaces are about right. 5 languages on the front: English, French, German, Spanish and Swedish as usual. But then you look at the actual instructions, and that's it. Seven frames of data there, and that is all of your instructions. Now they have gone through and retypeset the numbers, so numbers are a bit clearer, and also they can use whatever sort of symbology they want. They can add in to be modern, but other than that, these are the original things. In these days, it would have said, instead of like 35 and 64, it would have been, you know, a fix oleo leg, forward oleo leg in, and then attach rearward actuator arm or something like that. It would have mentioned every single bit of the plane. 3 engines, you know, double banked radial engines. I mean, everything's here. It should be fairly straightforward, but it's going to be basic. But then on the back is the modern full colour decal and paint markings. Yeah, it's going to be quite challenging doing this finish, but you know what? That's what airbrushes are for. And I'm sure people do it with paintbrushes as well, actually, just as well in many respects. But this is where I'm going to have to get my airbrush skills up to date. And finally, decal sheet, new decal sheet by Cartograph. I don't believe this instrument panel was anything like as sharp as that originally, so they've probably been slightly redesigned anyway. Fairly minimal, no masses of stencils or anything like that. Very, very straightforward, but because they're modern, the beautiful quality, the colours are spot on, the registration is spot on, and they're going to go on well. There we go. What did I say? It's an old mould, and it comes with its issues, largely due to the packaging, because these days a lot of these things wouldn't get bent in the packaging because they'd have nice protective frames around them. But there we go. They're not going to retool the entire thing, just as they would start from scratch, and I'm really not sure they're going to be doing that in a hurry. Anyway, it's a nice enough kit. The plastic looks fine. It's just going to take a bit of work to put together, but not fundamentally anything bad, I don't think, at the moment. Now, in the next video, I'll be putting this plane into a bit of context with some history, and also the history of the kit itself and what other kits are available. And the video after that will be the build video, where I'll show you how I put the whole thing together. If you don't want to miss any of these videos, please do remember, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, and you'll be notified when any and all of my videos are released. And of course, anything you like, please give it the imperial thumbs up on the like button below. Every like counts. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Take very good care. Goodbye.